Hey folks, welcome back to another video, and today it's about voice stacks again. Third video, but I find more and more interesting ways to actually use this. So this is basically what we built in the last video, and if you want to know how I built this, then just rewatch this video. Just to recap this here a bit shortly, we have a note grid, also in voice stack mode, creating basically chords, outputting here multiple notes just with the monophonic patch, and also on different MIDI channels, all with the voice stack modulator. Then we're going in with the notes here into an instrument layer. The first layer is a polysynth, only grabbing channel 1, 2, and 3, playing a nice melody. Then we created here a chorus with voice stacking, also a reverb and a delay. And there's a delay 2 at the end here. And the second channel is basically only grabbing note with the channel 5, and that's for the bass. And to make the bass pattern a bit more interesting, I used your note repeats and the ledge and the quantize and the phase 4 just for the bass note. Okay, so let's go back here to the polysynth layer and go into the reverb. So this is the reverb we created, and we have this here with voice stacking enabled. So for 5 voice stacks, we have this FX grid patch 5 times running in parallel, and I found it interesting to actually implement something like an bandpass or frequency splitter into this to get more interesting sounds out of it. So at first I thought maybe let's introduce here a bandpass and remove this, and now we have basically 5 bandpass filters with the same frequency in parallel running. But we have this voice stack modulator here, so we can spread out the frequencies. So now each stack gets its own frequency, but it's kind of random. So I thought maybe it's better to bring this back here to a bandpass. I'll also switch it here to bandpass, of course, and use notes. So let's use a pitch in, and we are in D sharp minor in this track. So I go to D sharp here. Then I'm using pitch quantize, dialing in the scale of D sharp minor, and also using a transpose. So now we can modulate this basically here, spread out all the modulations to transpose here all the notes, or all the stacks to different notes or to different frequencies. You can also check this here. You can see how spread out all the frequencies are, maybe something like this. Okay, and then we can use this here to drive basically the pitch input of the SVF, turn this up, and now we have on each stack a different frequency, which is also always in the scale of D sharp minor. You can even pitch this up here 1 octave, so D sharp 4. So okay, we already can create some kind of shimmer effect or pitched up texture on top with this bandpass filter and a very resonant filter setting here, which is interesting. But now comes also the part of modulation. You can not only use the voice stack modulator and modulate the transpose, which modulates the SVF and the bandpass filter. You can also modulate this voice stack modulator again. So we switch this here to manual, and we have all these sliders. And now there's no modulation applied from the voice stack because all these sliders are at 0. So what we can do is we can put in here a random mod, maybe use 16 notes, or 8 notes or 16 notes, something like this. We also don't need the polyphonic mode here, and we maybe want to sync this up. Yeah, this should be fine. So now we need 5 of these. And then we can modulate here these sliders. So we're now modulating basically the frequencies of all SVF filters in each stack differently, randomly, and it's always in key because we use this pitch quantize here. Okay, so now we can modulate here the resonance to bring this in maybe with a step mod. Just occasionally. Maybe make this a bit slower. And you get these nice shimmery textures, voices on top, and all of these voices and textures are in key, which makes it highly musical. And the interesting thing about all this is that you all build this for yourself in your own environment without using a VST. So it's unique to you. Only you have this reverb. It's basically, yeah, the key to your own sound. And the more ideas you have to tweak these settings and to tweak things in the grid here and create your own effects, you make your sound more and more unique. So now that we have this here, we can probably also use this here and maybe create a new track. And let's use a poly grid here. And maybe here we just fire up some notes. Or actually just use here maybe our note grid. Just duplicate this to create some nice melody. So let's use here a FX grid again and do the same trick with the SVF. You can of course use a different filter if you want to. You don't need to use the SVF. You can also use the XP if you want to. And let's do the same thing here. So we use a pitch. We use a pitch quantize, yeah. And we need to transpose. Transpose is here. And we modulate this, of course. We go here to the root node. We modulate the SVF. Modulate this. And we kind of can create with this a small little resonator bank, if you will. So maybe exchange this here for XP, so we can use here a more narrow band. So you send something like this in, a bleep, and then you have the resonator bank already. Okay, so now we need to use here, of course, voice stacking to multiply this. And the voice stack modulator, 0 to 1, and we just transpose this here up. Let's see how this sounds. It's almost like modal synthesis. So now comes the idea again. We use here manual. We use random mods for this. We need only a monophonic mode. 8 notes maybe. Just duplicate this multiple times here. And then modulate all that stuff. And yeah, hopefully sounds kind of interesting. You probably also can exchange this here for a noise. Yeah, sounds nice. We can also use, probably, if you want to have a predictable melody, you just exchange these random mods here for step mods, and then use the randomize button on these ones. Let's use here an LFO Classic this time, and modulate here the resonance. And post FX we can insert here a small delay. So it's already a nice, interesting effect, and we don't even have a nice input sound, it's just a noise burst, right? And when we use here our reverb from the first track, maybe at the end here, which is also in tune, so maybe let's change this up here to maybe unipolar. So now we also modulate here with this voice stack in the negative range, which transposes down. It's basically a melody or a nice atmosphere out of nothing. It's just there. Highly rhythmical. We probably can combine this here with our first track. It's probably also nice to use this on drum loops here. Yeah, let's actually try this. Add an instrument track here and maybe use an XO. Fire up some drums. Maybe I use here some presets just for the example. Energetic beats. Something like this. Let's put this on there. Oh, it's actually not what I want. I have this one here. You can make nice atmospherics out of beats. And see how it sounds with different beat settings here. It's almost like a vocoder. So yeah, easy peasy making music with Bitwig Studio. So I think that's it. I want to show you this. That it's actually nice to experiment around with these voice stacks and filters and all that stuff, and just having stuff in parallel, and also using voice stack modulators to transpose it around, using pitch quantizers to target different frequencies or notes in the scale, and it leads to all kinds of different musical results in no time. Yeah. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you like the video, dislike if you don't like it, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.